MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by The Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below. All right, what's going on? What's going on? How we doing? Just gonna run through all my pre-market stuff real quick, and we'll get to it. Hope everybody had a good week. It's been an interesting week. And an interesting start to the day. We got some heavy swings in the structure and the price action overnight. Trying to bring up it's not coming up. Journal. There we go. The pre-market volume check. Somewhat heavy volume for a Friday, for relative to the previous Fridays, but lighter than yesterday. That's all I need to really be focused on today. See anything else significant to point out. It's an interesting start to today's session. Interesting overnight. Price action with some heavy swings. Touched both the bull and the bear moon. It'll be, we'll see. Like overall, we're trading sideways. It's a neutral, holding this neutral range, and it's relatively small, compared to the previous session. Actually, the previous 2 sessions. So right now we're trading as an inside candle. Kind of see like just an overall picture of the comparison between the different indices. Kind of, we pretty much the same structure across the board. Not much of a difference. I'll go ahead and close this down. Finish going through my checklist and I'll be ready to, got about 4 minutes before the open. Of course, we got a significant volume. The volume drops off significantly above the PR high. Find some more volume around PR plus 4. Around that 315, 310 area. Just gonna mark it off right here. Session high volume starts to decline around 340. The session low volume around 230. That's good enough. open. Let me post this tweet real quick. Alright, is it even called a tweet now? Or is it X? I don't even know what you call it. Is it not? Since it's not Twitter anymore. That is an interesting open. Nice little 3-minute print so far. Got a minute left in that 3 minute. It's kind of skyrocketing back towards the session high. Look at all them volume gap areas that I was paying attention to or that I marked off. Right now with this print, I'm reading this as overnight. We just collected a bunch of overall sentiment, collected a bunch of inventory. You know, and now we're selling that or releasing that back to supply. Also, you know, it kind of started at the end, towards the end of yesterday's session. We had a nice little wick on the daily print for the previous session. A bunch of inventory collection. We're just running the supply now, making our way back to the session high. Let's push the session high. Market's going to show liquidity on both sides as we start to show this look above and fail. I mean, with this kind of start, you know, be nice to see some pullback. Kind of find some new balance in here. Gotta reset the board. This is an area where traps are likely. We're gonna start really, Wholesale is really gonna start taking advantage of the liquidity and start rebudgeting and just conducting business. It's not personal, it's just business. So I'm gonna be patient. Just try to find a setup that I really like. Or just wait for a setup that I really like. Doesn't mean it's gonna work. I'm just kind of be a sniper today. Nice inventory response off 332. Potentially setting up a range up here. After that strong supply around 348. That supply is not seasoned yet. That was just quick supply. Let's see if we can season that supply. Or are we gonna still have the potential to lift that supply? You can see it on the book map, and and also by the print, how we have liquidity on both ends of this range. All right, so we're still lifting the session high. If I can get my mouth to work. Back to the overnight high for some quick inventory, and we're going to drop that inventory back inside the range. I'm not going to overanalyze this area, so maybe a little quiet on the mic. Did leave MSRP inside the neutral zone. Can't really see the price for but it's around PR -1. Personally, really, I would like to see more of a pullback before I'm interested in taking my triggers. Unless I get some triggers, a solid trigger short. Which is unlikely to happen anytime soon. Now, I want to be, take my positions in higher probability areas. While it is still, there is still long potential up here, of course. There's always potential on the board, whether it's choppy or it's trending or whatever. Just me personally, what I'm looking for is I want to initiate in those areas with the highest potential of success, or to work out in my favor. And that's relative to what I'm looking at, what I'm looking for. It's relative to my strategy and how I like to trade. So in that regard, there's no one size fits all. It's just based off of what you like to do and how you plan on performing in this environment. So we're still lifting the session high. We're not done budgeting in this area. Right now, I'm just saying this is some overall budgeting as we continue to take advantage of as much supply as we can up here. Still in this markup phase, marking up the value, lifting the supply, lifting the inventory. You can kind of see that from a 3-minute perspective. Still grabbing inventory off of that 346 area. It's calling in the 340s. Somewhat moonwalking on the surface of the bull moon. I'm watching this, I'm kind of remembering like how the word patience has came up a lot for me this week. I don't remember in detail the earlier days of but I know yesterday took a lot of patience to look for it, to get setups that I wanted. It's all tradable. Of course, I am seeing positions that of course, in hindsight, capital is showing me trades that I could take and all that good stuff, right? But like I said, like I want to, well, I'll just put it this way. Over time, I learned to, and as I came here day after day over the years, I've learned to really just be patient for the setups that I want and be okay with not taking trades that I'm not completely comfortable with. Because, this is a long-term thing. This is not something I'm trying to, just really get what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have a short-term mentality. It's another word I'm looking for. This whatever. I don't have a short-term mentality where I'm trying to just, quote unquote, get rich quick or whatever. I'm in it for the marathon. So with that perspective, with that mentality, if I don't see the setups that I want, I'm going to be patient. I'm just going to rely on my patience and be patient and get the setups that I want. Even if I'm saying in hindsight where I could have did X, Y, and Z, it's okay. Like eventually I do get the setups that I want and then I take those trades. And overall, I feel better about it versus trying to play in this, be involved in the game in areas where I don't want to be involved in. Overall, eventually those leads to losses that I, wish I wouldn't have taken. And then, all of that triggers emotional stuff. So for me personally, it just played out better. It's better for me too. I've learned to be more patient and just wait for what I'm looking for. But that comes after actually going through those experiences. So the only way to know exactly what you prefer is to actually participate and go through those experiences. If you try to avoid too much, you don't get the experience, and then you don't really know what you like best or what you truly prefer. Even though it may work for you, even if you didn't get all of the experience that you could have, you may find something that works, and that's cool. At the end of the day, it's an individual sport, and you just got to find what works for you. Find what success is for yourself, and then go with that. Alright, so we're continuing. We had a little inventory dip right there. I do like that print. Now we're going to continue to lift the session high. So I'll be looking to see if we can stay above that 340 inventory, which will give us a really interesting print for the day. However, also keeping in mind that we started today's session with heavy swings, so a break below 340, 330 would not be surprising at some point throughout today's session. It doesn't have to happen anytime soon, but if it does happen, it would be expected. It's not something that's would surprise me too much, or that I would have to make a big deal out of, because we set that theme overnight. There's nothing to complain about, nothing to put negative energy into. It's just, we already saw what they were trying to do overnight. If it does play out that way. So, when they show you something, believe it. And by they, I mean whoever the participants are that are showing us what they see as value through their participation. And from there, you can throw whatever label you want to throw on them. it's all subjective. So while we did push the session high, we're still overall in this budgeting range. I want to keep my mind on 340. If we come back to that area, or keep my attention to that. I'm just paying attention to that area. Got about 10 minutes before B period. It's at 3:36. Daily perspective, we're almost at yesterday's high. Which is around that 387 area. Just going to round that to 390. Highly possible to have some sell interest if we make it to 390. Would also expect to see some front running of that area. I would, just for fun, I'm just going to say I would expect to see some front running around 380 if we make it that high. Right now the session high is around 372. Again, nothing that I'm saying is actual trading advice. For educational and entertainment purposes only. But when I start throwing out stuff like that, I just want to make sure I put that disclaimer in there. As always, great trades from within. Great trades come from within, so trade your own strategy, not my perspective. Drop inventory back to A1. Inventory response off of that 358 range. And now we got supply above 370. At some point today, if we make it back below 320, things should get really interesting. It's starting to get some pressure that's taking us back inside that overnight range. Strong negative delta that brought us back inside of that range. Back to that 340 area that I mentioned earlier. Got some 330s inventory that we're collecting. Kind of look at all of what we just, that whole range, that little budgeting phase, kind of, getting some budget for this inventory here. And doesn't mean we're going to go back to supply. We can also be interested just taking a quick pick stop before we go and find some cheaper inventory. Let's just say, for instance, we're interested in inventory around 300. We don't want to use up all of our budget trying to get straight to 300. We want to grab some inventory along the way, sell it, go into some quick supply, get rid of it, and just keep our budget steady until we get to the main inventory that we're looking for. We are close to that 320 area that I mentioned. We still got a ways to go, but few points. But the way that this is printing, the way that this price action is coming in, we can actually make it to 320 within a couple minutes. But I also wouldn't be surprised if we had a front run of that area. Right, so we're tapping 320. There's a push below 320. Right, this is what I was actually waiting for. That 310 area where we had that volume gap overnight. We've met our MSRP. After a while, you get enough experience, you kind of know what's likely to happen. The only thing that still remains difficult is the timing, for me personally. Right, you can have a lot of conviction that something should happen, but knowing exactly when it's going to happen, that's that variable that a majority, I can't say all, but a majority of retail traders struggle with. I mean, that's just like life in general, right? So that was an interesting response off that 316 area. Less than a minute before B period. Alright, so we have transitioned into B period as I was bobbing out to the music. Making our way back to that overnight high. So nice inventory above PR plus 3. Last inventory, quick inventory off of PR plus 4. Nice and mechanical. Gives us an interesting 3-minute print. Grab that liquidity below 320. And let's see where we want to take it, what we want to do. Didn't get a trigger where I didn't want it, so I'm going to skip it. I'm going to pass up on it. Reminding myself that I'm looking for the best setups by, according to my strategy, what most people would call those A+ setups. Back above the overnight high. Record some ambience and put it in this track. Quickly making our way back to the session high. So quick that I got triggers that didn't feel. actually interested in those triggers. It just trigger came and then prices continued to climb without my orders. Let's see if we're going to push the session high. Nice continuation overall theme with these heavy swings. Let's see if we can make it to that 380 area that I mentioned earlier. Keeping in mind that yesterday's high is around that 390 range. There's 380. A little bit of a pause here. Potentially turning into supply. You can also say potentially running out of supply up there. I've taken a quick little budgeting break up there. I wouldn't necessarily call that a front run yet. I want to see a heavy release of inventory to really call it a front run. But so far it's shaping up to my predictions, even though it's just an experience-based guess. But I had no idea that was actually going to play out like that, in reality. But it's just based off of what I typically see with NQ, and so basically we got that 380-ish. It went up to 382, 383 for the front run of the previous session high. And now we're gonna bring inventory back into A1 in that 360 range. So for sure, I would definitely call that a front run. Now we look playing the game of how low can we go. Just because we're making this move back towards the overnight high with these huge swings that NQ is interested in today. The potential or the possibility for us to continue to lift the session high is still present. We're just making these big swings relative to the power range, to these PR levels. And if you look at this compared to another day, these swings are not, I would still say these are pretty decent swings, like just no matter what day you compare it to. So look at the high of that last swing versus the low. That's 370 all the way down there. That's a 50 point. Yeah, it's a pretty decent swing. That's 50 to 60 point range. Swing all the way down. It almost made it to 310. Adding inventory off of the overnight high. We still are finding interest in that area. MSRP has made it to the overnight high. Right now around 344. If we're going to continue this markup phase, I would want to see this inventory take us back to the overall supply around 370. There we go. Let's see if we can make it back to 380. So we're maintaining this markup phase. We zoom out to a 3-minute perspective, we can see a lift in the inventory as well as a lift in the supply. What's the typical term for this? I have forgotten the industry standard terms for a lot of this stuff. I've created my own terminology. But really, I just applied normal marketing terms, normal business terms to the financial markets, because all markets are basically the same. They all operate and function the same. A market is a market. We don't really need different terminology for different markets. We can just use the same stuff if we want to. Whatever works for you is the whole. Always got to go back to operating from within. Find a little bit of supply here at 370 now. All right, and for now, we're just playing this. We're just working, collecting inventory. We're gonna release it to supply and rinse and repeat. Continue the cycle until we're done, until we want to go to another phase, until we want to get out, until we want to go to another area of interest. Reset the board and start the process all over again. But if our wholesale sees there's an interest to participate in this area, for the most part, they got to facilitate those orders. So until we exhaust this session high area, until there's not enough interest left up here, we're going to keep conducting business up here for as long as we can. For as long as it makes fiscal sense for wholesale to keep doing business up here. Kind of see things slowing down in terms of the price action, in terms of the by way of the tick, in terms of the order fulfillment. So I want to see where we get our next strong supply response. or if we make it above 380, like seriously above 380 to the previous session high after that front run, making our way back to the session high with some momentum. Let's see if it's enough to actually push the session high. Got some more supply in that 380 area, right at 380. So we failed to go above 380. And then we hold that kind of gives us an idea of how much interest is still up in this area. To solidify that idea, I would want to see price go back to 340 at least. I'm not overcomplicating it, I'm just simply reading the structure. Definitely a no trade day for me because I'm beyond my trade window. Just looking to see what within the next few minutes, how this plays out. Struggling to make it back to and above 380. We're getting a little violent as we push above 380. So there's our liquidity run. Can we make it to 390? Can we make it above yesterday's high? Put my mouse roughly in that area as a point of reference. Looks like it wanted to push above 390. We are getting a response at 390. Up in the front run. Nice little supply response there. Nice sell response. Didn't quite push the yesterday's high, or the previous session high. Back to 380. Let's see if we can get some buying to come back in and make another attempt. And I'll come back and check that later. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up for the day. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Appreciate all the, everybody hitting the like button. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend. We'll do it all over again Monday. So until next time, trade it easy.